That's what I'm talking about, son. Get you some of that daggone pie.
Woo-hoo! Looky there. There's your bug-eyed big one right there.
Getting started. We're getting started.
Here's what I'm talking about. Gosh dang gorilla.
Let's go, baby. Straight meat. God, look at that biggin.
All right, everybody, welcome into the show tonight. And on the air, we're going to have Jeremy Dehart. This is the BAM Pod, and he is the owner of the Apex Tour, I guess it's Wild West in general. So it's Wild West with the Apex Tour up there. He's the owner of it, and we're gonna talk to him about some of the new stuff coming up. So welcome in, sit down, and let's get this thing started. Jeremy, thanks for coming on, man. Appreciate it.
I appreciate that, Ed. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, we're coming up on the new season. It's November, so everything's kind of winded down. I think most of the championships are done. Most of the things like that are, maybe there's a few, but for the most part, it's all done. But we're looking into next year. I know that there are some good things coming up with your events, whether it's the Wild West teams, the Wild West in general, Apex, all the different things. And I'd love to just talk to you about what some of the things are coming up and some of the hurdles you jumped through this year with Fish and Game. Maybe later on we'll talk about that. Some of the really exciting things coming up, sponsors. So let's just jump into it, and maybe
right.
You can talk us into some of the the new things that we can look forward to, and Wild West, Apex, everything. So
okay, yeah. For we have the championship that'll take place this weekend for the 2022 season on the Pro-Am side, and yes, the Wild West Bass Trail has a number of properties that are underneath the title. But Apex being the elite of what we do on that side. There's a lot of things. I guess we can just start off with the process and how it was uniquely different for the permit process from Fish and Game. I thought that Flower and the group over there at California Department of Fish and Wildlife did a great job this year, given the circumstances, the way the communication went through, the process in which we met, and we're able to walk out with dates immediately. So, 4 or 5 hours beats about a month and a half. So,
yeah.
that's always positive. It helps business on everybody's part. So, yeah, it was good to meet in person, and they are fine tuning a few regulations that will be implemented in the future. And some of which will be implemented this year as well. But we have to get the final details of those before we put those into our categories of operating tournaments. But all in all, I think we should be able to work around that, and it'll be safe there.
Is it? Are they things that affect the fishermen mostly, or are they just like the back scenes, the way you guys have to do, the way that you have to run the events?
Some of it will be running the events. There may be one or two things, and mostly it's centered around Clear Lake.
Okay.
Just because of, water will solve a lot of issues. So we're all in preparation for that. It looks like we may get some nice rain or snow pack here this weekend. We'll see what's up. But yeah, that's it. It shouldn't change too much of our operations.
Okay.
It may have a change here or there as far as ramp availability. I do know that there's going to be some changes at Big Break Marina. And so those things may affect some of our event operations when we get there. So.
Okay. All right. Well, let's get let's go back in and hit some of these the tournaments coming up. What what everything's looking like for you guys as far as did you get your dates? Did you get all your everything going?
I think all in all we walked away pretty happy with our schedule. I think it's a good solid schedule for the Pro-Am side. With Apex, with Kayak Pro Tour, we can maneuver that around, and it's very unique. So that kind of isolates itself. Okay. Our decisions are based on that for some of the events, but they're not, conducted with the Western Bass Shootout that we have coming up in April, with the Apex Pro Tours 2022 championship that'll take place in the early part of the year. So those type of things we have to fit into our schedule as well. But all in all, got a great team schedule, got a good pro-am schedule. Apex, I think the boys will be happy with that over there, and pretty unique. And we've got some good dates with the Kayak Pro Tour coming up as well, so we'll be announcing that.
And you have a big push. Like last year, I know you were talking about you had a big push with I think the high school level, right? So that's one of your big things too, and that's looking good this year. And
yeah, we just wrapped up with the Wild West Bass Trail Youth Series championship. It took place at Lake Havasu in Arizona, and we had a good turnout from the Ione area with the Hook team of youth kids. There was, I think it was 20 some teams that came out and participated. So it was good for them. Good lake to have that championship at. We'll see where it goes from there, but I do know that we're going to be putting those events in conjunction specifically with some of our others so that we can bring a big show. We want the kids to have fun. The kids programs that we're going to be conducting within Apex, and after the 3-day event where we can kind of bring in the community. So there'll be a lot of different things to enhance and add to what we already do. And a lot of that is community-based, kid-based, and Wild West Bass Trail Youth Series.
Okay, that's awesome. That's I don't know. It's the future, and we need to bring them up and make them show, and give them something to look forward to. When you can make them a big event, or they can go to a big event, or feel like they're in something like that, it really inspires them to do more. And it's like, hey, that was a blast. I want to do that every year. So trying to get out there.
Those kids are pumped. They did have a pretty good attitude about it. It was tough fishing, but I didn't see anybody give up, so that's good.
Yeah, that's and that's awesome. That's the way it should be. Go out there, have fun, don't give up on it, and just keep driving, because Havasu is not an easy lake all the time.
No, it can have its trick, and it was not easy for the kids this time, but it was good.
Yeah, it ended up being pretty good, so that's good. Now, getting back into some of the stuff coming up, is there any major changes that you did to the circuits at all, as far as how where you're going, or just any major changes at all?
There's some sponsor driven features that we'll add to this. We've got with the help of a lot of Wild West Bass Trail staff and setup, we've got a whole new setup for the weigh-in process.
Okay.
Should be very angler friendly. It'll be expediting a lot of what we do. So where we're able to keep up with a few things, but this will be a nice even flow, more so than what we even have now. It's been pretty good. Randy and the group's been doing a good job with that, but we're going to add a few enhanced features to that. So
now, is that for everything, for all of your events, or is that just going to be for Apex? Is that
that'll be Apex is unique because it's the
it's the
dual qualification, and but it should have the same end of day result as far as weigh-in process.
Okay, so you're not changing. It's not going to be a flat board weigh-in or anything like that out with the team events or the pro events or anything like that. It'll still be a weigh-in.
Right, that's correct.
Right. I know you can't give away any of the Apex spots or anything like that, but does it look good this year?
Yeah, it looks really good. I think it's the schedule spread out well. It is built to accommodate the other events that we have going on. It's we never know what's going to happen in the economy.
Right.
That's always up in the air, but we hope that it's flexible enough for everybody to continue to do that. And we have to always monitor our environment.
Right.
What's going to work, what's not going to work, what is conditions. It's a unique situation, and what we do a lot of times is people's livelihoods, but it's also people's hobbies. So it's kind of an even way there.
Yeah, there are definitely plenty of guys out there that do both. They work jobs or whatever, then come out and do this as I don't know, maybe trying to make it a career, but at the same time, understanding that something else has to pay the bills sometimes.
That's correct, and we have to be sensitive to that as well. So
yeah, that's good. I've always applauded your guys' circuit just because of the way you've done it and the way that it's come out, and just everything's been spot on. I mean, you've had great numbers of anglers that are interested in it. All the way up to just when you're there, it goes fast. It goes, you're in and out, and it's very professionally run. And
I appreciate that. Yeah, we've got, the lock it in feature this year was very successful, more so than what I thought it would be. So it's we've got a good set group of followers for the Pro-Am and Team Series. So looking forward to that.
That should be good. Did you hit the numbers you thought you'd hit?
Pretty close, yeah.
Pretty close.
We did open it up for just a few of the open season, but it is very close, yeah.
Now, a couple of things you talked about right there was this, one of the things you said was that you kind of have a special event coming up, the Wild West or the Western Open Challenge. Is that what it was?
Western Bass Shootout.
Western Bass Shootout. So, yeah, you have that event, and then you also have, last year it was called the Spartan 580. This year, because of Aaron, this year you're going to have bring that back again. And how was that event overall taken, the Spartan?
I think a lot of people, and I'll be honest here, I think a lot of people might have been somewhat confused by it a little bit, but it was built to be grueling. It's on a massive body of water, the Columbia River. It is a unique opportunity. It is 9 straight days, and it'll take a beating on staff as well as the anglers every single day. But it was good because it was community driven. We had 3 communities involved. It was in honor of Aaron and basically the Iron Man of what we were doing. And we could talk about the Spartan again next year. It's going to be more of the name, maybe not as long and continuous, but it'll always have a unique twist to it because we're consistently working in the background to try to make something unique, and it makes it good for TV show. It makes it good for publicity, media coverage, and so on.
Now that was taped and filmed, and is it out already?
Yeah, it's on the Pursuit channel. There's three parts to the Spartan 580.
Okay.
It does cover a lot of detail there, a lot of unique fish catches. It's fun. So it'll be right now we've been through the Mojave Pyramid event. Okay. Then we went into Trinity, and I think Trinity's airing right now, and then it'll go to 3 episodes of the Spartan 580. So, and then everything goes into Pursuit Up, which is a streaming system, Outdoor Action TV, which is streaming on demand, and then also Wild West Bass Trail YouTube channel. So,
so
with those 3 locations.
So Trinity's still coming, or should be playing now, and then there's one. Now. Okay, and then there's one more event that will go 3 more days or whatever on a different lake.
Yeah,
and then
it was Mojave Pyramid the first 2 weeks. Then the second 2 weeks is Trinity, and then the third 2 weeks would be Spartan 580. It would go 2 weeks for part 1, 2 weeks part 2, 2 weeks part 3, and then we finally wrap it up with the El Cap and San Vicente.
Okay, yeah.
But go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say, and it goes to, and then after that it goes to Pursuit Up, and then people can download it and watch it all at once, stream it basically live.
Do whatever you got to,
binge watch that sucker.
Yeah, so. And there's some, we got Nick Salvucci, we've got Thomas Kanemoto from P-Line, we've got Ken Ma, we've got a bunch of other shows that are on up there that are in the process. So I'm sure everybody knows the end result of who won, but how they did it is where we capture the action.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's the fun part, is watching what they do to actually get there. How has it been TV wise as far as your ratings and things like that? I mean, has it been good on the Pursuit channel?
Yeah, it's very good on the Pursuit channel. There are a lot of eyeballs, and our demographic really comes down from the Texas South area. That's I would say probably 65% of our viewership is from there. And that goes to just basically the strength of anglers wanting to know how the West Coast guys do it. I mean, they're so successful as they move, on the bigger tours like Bass or
Right.
MLF or wherever they go. But it's like, okay, how do you do that, or what techniques? And they are very diligent in learning. So we do find that seems to be a consistent number down there in that area. And then our California, Arizona, Nevada, Washington, Oregon area, there's this where that picks up the rest of the numbers. But it is very strong. The analytics generally come out after the fourth quarter, so probably sometime mid first quarter we'll get some of the ratings. And then the streaming stuff, we just get all those the analysis off that as it comes out. Yeah.
We have a process that we call simple price, simple process. And what that means is we take our lowest and best price and we post it on every single car. There's no back and forth. And by simple process, what that means is when you meet somebody, they can handle every aspect of what you do in your car transaction buying experience from beginning to end.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's good. I just, I know it's always a strive to make it to maybe one of the, I guess one of the big networks or whatever, but do you ever see that going that way?
Yeah, I think so. There's certain sponsors that come on board, will put us in a different category as far as where it is and availability. And some of the larger networks have to have a place for you as well.
Right.
With our specific show and the content changes and the way you film it has to be a little bit different. So there are some twists and turns with that as you move on to those other ones, but we are built to go there anytime we need to.
That's good. One of the other things you kind of mentioned in there was some people moving on to some of the bigger events, and I've talked to a couple of the guys now that I've asked them about coming and fishing staying over here, fishing the Apex, fishing. Do you see yourself being up there with maybe one of the top threes, top fours, as far as a drawing tour like that, or do you just never going to be able to go real big like
how would I put this? And I don't say this as in an arrogant statement. I don't say this as feeling like we're even close. We're consistently always working to try to make things better. However, I think for the West Coast, we are up there with the tops.
Okay.
For our area. If we were to go back to the Midwest or East Coast, of course, it would probably be number 3, 4, 5.
Okay.
But yeah, and I don't ever look at it that way. We've always, like I said, we always are striving to be better. And whatever somebody may say as far as a customer, if a customer says, "Hey, we think they're number one," or whatever the case is, great. We appreciate that. It means we're doing something right.
Right.
But as far as putting a number on it, I just feel like we do well. We have a unique base that's different than anyone else. If I was to pull numbers from other organizations, you would probably see our crossover rate, believe it or not, below 20%.
Wow.
And that's with our West Coast anglers. We just have different customers.
Right.
Every series. So it's kind of hard when other series are pulling different numbers, and it's always probably a revolving door. 10 to 15% will have life happen, and then 10 to 15% are going to come in. So that's just the nature of what we have and are operating with, I feel. So I think that's more of a better answer is, we are all different.
Yeah. There's it's West Coast, and it is harder to get, it's not like you go over to, I don't know, Alabama or something, open the doors and everybody flocks in because they just want to fish something, and
Kay does a great job over there with the Alabama Bass Trail. She's sold out in 20 minutes.
Yeah.
So yeah, she does a great job. Good for her.
That's impressive.
Yeah.
But with that kind of leading in, last year we talked, and how many anglers did you have on the Apex Tour last year?
40. I want to say it was either 46 or 47.
Now you were going to go, I think if I'm not mistaken, your cap was going to be 58.
Yeah.
Like you were just going to say, nope, that's where we're going to be at. It's 58. We're not going to go any higher for the source foreseeable future. Now, will that kick in this year, or is that?
Yeah, that's going to be, and a lot of people last year we worked it where we took the full, I think it was 15 spots that we went down. That was due to just continuing that process. First year up was certain criteria, second year was certain criteria. This year, I invited the 10 that were let's say out of the top 10, 5 were already Apex guys.
Mm-hmm.
So we take them out anyway.
Okay.
Now we have 10 spots to fill. So we went down to 15. 15, we invited those 10.
Okay.
And we'll see where the numbers completely finish up. But I'm really liking to see what I see, but that's where it's at. It is being designed and developed to be that top tier. We want those guys to want to be here, and they're going to strive to be there. And the way they are going to go through it is, pro-am or qualification. So that's basically it.
So, and that kind of leads me to that the next question. When that was, and I was going to ask you, did anybody, has anybody major, stepped up and said, he accepted the invitations, and these guys are coming in.
Yeah, we do have that. I'm gonna place out a full complete list here in the next couple of weeks, given the guys that are practicing or have been participating in the. I think even Mark was back at the MLF championship, so getting them to have a chance to come home and get settled in. We'll make everything good to go.
That's good. That'd be fun to see. I'd like to see who else qualified, who else made it, and with the qualification. I think it's, for me, watching the Apex out here, especially, and I've said this to a bunch of the guys that I've interviewed and talked to, and it's like if you're fishing the pro-ams and that's your goal now, all of a sudden it's like there's a goal out here. There's something to go to. There's something to make. But I also think it's going to be very interesting to see if there's only 58 spots, somebody's going to have to leave before someone else can come. So,
and that process does go into effect at the end of this year.
At the end of this year? Okay.
Yeah.
So they will have to qualify. Basically, they just won't be there. They have to make sure that they finish above X amount of points or something, or.
That's correct. And then they'll have to go through either a requalification, or, given circumstance, we do have a couple that'll have some health exemption because of life. But, that'll be the case.
But for the most part, it's going to be, hey, you want to get up here, you want to be here, you got to beat, you got to get on it and be in the pro-ams, because I think that's really the only way to qualify, right? Is be in the pro-ams to make.
That's right. The first year, there may have been some confusion about that, but the first year was, hey, we're starting Apex. There's a lot of different details with this, but we're going to take our Angler of the Year points from the pro-am side. We're going to take our Pro Cup, which we were doing since 2015, 16. I think it was 2016. And we took those that had participated through that. And then we also had sponsor exemptions. And there's always a few spots for sponsor exemptions, just because this is how it works. It's got to be fluid. It's got to we have to be able to provide that percentage back to the anglers so that they can continue to do this at this level. Because it takes a lot of dedication, both financial, emotional, from the family. So we do realize that. So we need to make sure that we, retain that. It is a unique structure and the ability, and it's, something that we're still continuing to develop even now. Right. But we're very close to perfecting to what we would want to play with and make it work. And we've found parts and pieces that are really fitting into place to help us to do that, both on a media perspective and network television.
How is it, you talk about sponsors and you talk about guys coming out. How has it been as far as accepted out here in the West Coast, on the West Coast, California, Oregon, Nevada, how has it been accepted by advertisers?
Endemic or non-endemic?
Either way, actually. I mean, endemic is always, I think, it's important to have that, but non-endemic is where I think you really
Yeah.
get the good money from.
Yeah.
The least.
Well, I would answer it like this. It puts you, Apex places Wild West Bass Trail at a different level to an endemic sponsor. Before, previous to, endemics were like, hey, we need to be there for sell a boat or
Mhm.
for an engine or, graphs or whatever. Now those endemics that were still the same ones that are in those categories, they see it differently because it is bringing out more of those that we are trying to groom to advertise for them. The anglers from Apex and our Pro-Am series are really starting to develop some unique characteristics of their salesmanship,
Mhm.
who they are, how they are, their appearance, their dress. I mean, it's very cool to see. Um, and they've bought into the program. They're rocking it. And the endemic side of sponsorships have recognized that. And those guys get calls a lot. That they're getting
Yeah.
calls from non-endemics, they're getting calls from endemics, and it's starting to. Our goal was to help them provide a platform that they can go to their sponsors or a potential sponsor and get their entry fees paid.
Right.
That was the main goal to start with, and it is happening. Even in the economy where it's kind of if wishy-washy, they're still able to obtain it. And so that's going to help them have those other dollars freed up to, continue with their family life, continue with travel, and those type of things and expenses that come along with that. So I applaud them. They're doing a great job. As far as non-endemic, you have to have them, and they're very difficult to come by. But they're very specific, and they know the concept of how and what we're advertising for on the television network side.
Right.
And that's where you attract that. The Bridgeford Foods, the A1 Tacticals, those type of companies where you're, we even have some locals like Wood Brothers and those that the non-endemic, yeah, they may be a local company, but that's also they have sales from across the West Coast. But then Bridgeford Food being on the national brand, they have a specific, they want their brand in people's hands. They want to make sure that those people are going back to Walmart, Kroger, Fry's, wherever the case is where they sell it, purchase it. And it's all based on sales driven concepts. So every sponsor has a unique way that they approach it when they partner with us. So we just make sure that we massage it to make sure that our package is available for them, and that we provide X, Y, and Z that they need.
It's just talking about those two things, the endemic, non-endemic, when we look at it, the Bridgefords and that sort of thing, it's really interesting that you said these guys are starting to really learn how to, I guess it's basically they're learning how to sell not only the product but themselves. And when you watch some of the first shows or the first things you did, like you said, the appearance wasn't there. Some of the guys just couldn't speak for anything, But like you said, they're starting to fill that out, and what it's going to do for them is, I'm guessing it basically it puts dollars in their pocket, but at the same time, it keeps them at a level where I think when we talked last year about it, I asked you a question about, do you see guys going to be where there is no entry fees? And you kind of led down this path that you just talked about, where it's not going to be that there's not going to be entry fees, but it's going to be that these guys are getting sponsors that are paying their entry fees. So yes, they will not have entry fees. And I think that's where you were trying to go last year. And it seems like, and that's what you're seeing now, right? Is that this is come to fruition per se.
Yeah. And we can provide the engine, the platform, and they're doing the work now. They bought into the program. They understand it. They've actually seen the do's and don'ts, the hows and whys, and they've implemented that. And now their recognition is coming forth. And it's like, hey, okay, we like you. We want this. We want that. Let's work that out. And I don't know all their deals.
Right.
That's not my business, but I do see in the end result, and I see well-spoken, well-dressed, professional-looking anglers out there on the water, and they know. And maybe they came in at a certain point in time and they were skeptical of what was going to take place. But 2 or 3 events into it, and they're like, okay, this is the real deal. They get through the process, they understand it, and the end result is you've got a professional in your hands. So
Bass U, folks. Information is pouring over. If you want to learn more about every lake, how to fish, shallow, deep, in between, skipping docks and rocks and cranking, slow wiggling, chatter, smattering, you get it at Bass U. We got the best of the best. If somebody's ever caught a bass on something and perfected the technique, we got you covered. Get on Bass U TV, check it out, sign up, be a member, be part of it, folks. Keep learning. I'm Gerald Swindle. Subscribe to Bass U.
And I think that's one of the biggest things out here is that I don't think we've ever had that. I don't think we've ever had an organization that tells these guys, you got to look the part and be the part, but you're offering that to them and telling them, if you buy into this, we're going to let you do this. I mean, this is going to be your livelihood if you want it to be, if you push hard. I mean, guys like Ken Maw have, they've stepped up from, the guy's been out there for a long time doing this. And he I'm sure he understood right off the bat, the Ishman Rose and things like that. Those guys have been there. Mark Lassane himself, they've been there. They understand it. But some of the other guys, the Matt Nadeau's and even the Zach Thompsons, who've been there for a long time and fished really hard to get there and qualify, but they never had that. And I think that's so important that you're bringing that and allowing that out here and showing them that, hey, if you step up and do this, you will be successful in this.
It's a complete circle. I mean, their success is making us successful. Our success making them successful. It's just the way it works, and it's a full circle. And as new guys come in, and that we had a very strong, good core group to start with.
Right.
And a lot of thoughts and process went into that, and people were like, "Well, why were so and so?" Well, number one, there's reasons for it, but number two, we're building, and that's what I've always tried to emphasize is we are building this. It's not a finished product, and there's something that may come about that we need to address or change later. I know certain things that we've implemented from last year that we've changed immediately. I mean, last event, boom, change. And those type of things, we have to, because I don't want to be stagnant. We have never, ever since, the start of Wild West Bass Trail, remained stagnant. There's always been something new or an added feature or some sort of way to change to continue to have that customer base want to be here. And so
I've seen that. I've seen that completely with this. I mean, guys are like, "Oh no, I want to be." And there was last year, there was a lot of questions I got asked by other, by anglers. It was, how come this guy didn't make it, or how come that guy didn't make it? And I'm not even going to watch this if this guy isn't there, because that's, it's like you don't know the whole story behind everything.
Right.
Some guys were sick, some guys just couldn't financially do it. It's not. Like you said before, this is not cheap. I don't care what you do or how you do it. Once you factor in, we're on the West Coast, so we have high gas prices. We've got high, rent. We got high mortgages. We got everything's more expensive here, I think, than a lot of places. So all of that factors in. But it seems like maybe this year, even though things have gotten, I would say, more expensive.
Right.
It seems like guys are really looking at it and saying, yeah, I still want to be there. This is where I want to be, because I feel like it can push me. I guess off of that, the question would be, is this going to push people? I don't want to say, because you talked about retention and you talked a little bit about that, but are you seeing guys that are like using this to step up to the next levels and saying, hey, you know what, from here I can go there?
Actually, I would honestly state that we have some that have been there and coming here.
Right.
Now, whether that's because where they live or whether that's because the interest is there because it's something unique.
Right.
It is a very unique format. So then I hear, I hear a lot of ways, and it may be confusing to some. It's is something we're trying to massage to make it more easier to follow.
Mhm.
But once you're in it, if you're an angler in it, it's just competitive, and it's like you completely are playing a slot machine that continues to pay. You're not going to get up because it's fun,
Right.
and that's I do see a lot of guys, and you hear a lot from others. Hey, so and so said that they really thought that was interesting. How do we get involved, or how can I get there? Or what do I need to do to get there? And they may never come over, or they may never make it, but just their interest into what we are doing, it's pretty cool. And there's names, high end names, high end, or pro names that fish the tours back east. So that and
Yeah,
they're asking about it.
I've talked to a couple of them, and they have.
Yeah.
They're like, hey, you know what? That's pretty interesting. What's going on out there? And I was like, well,
Yeah.
throw your hat back in the ring and see if you can make it.
There you go. Yeah.
But I think for me, the Apex is it's great for a lot of the young kids coming up. You're talking about some of the youth series you have, and when they can look at the level they're at right now, where they're fishing the high school levels and they're fishing these youth levels, and they're coming up, and they're even the kayak stuff, and these guys are they're looking up and they're going, God, this Apex thing, this is real. This is a level I can make it to, and I don't have to travel across the country. I don't have to travel. I can live right here in Rockland and make it, and I don't have to skate all over the place. I mean, you got to go to places like Trinity, but
Yeah. Oh, that's tough. Yeah. No, it's there's so many places that are basically unexplored by tournament organizations out west. We've got a lot of lakes, but that number has to be there so that you can go to those places. If we were to go there with a big show, you can't. It won't fish it. It won't hold it. It won't hold 3-day event.
Right.
So we do have to take that in consideration. But yes, it's been fun. It's been a fun journey. It's been a fun opportunity to be involved in something that we're growing and building.
Yeah,
that's the push and ambition that I have with it. It's something that I've had a drive for. So when we started rocking this thing out, it's like, hey, pretty cool.
When you talk about some of those lakes and some of that, having that 58 boat field, is that going to make it? I don't know what is there something that Fish and Game says, hey, you can't have this many on this size, or is it just for you guys to run them? Those are really quality numbers, because I mean, Thermalito Afterbay was, unique for sure. Trinity, very unique to go to that lake. But what's funny is that every time you guys go somewhere that's a little obscure, 2 months later on social media, that's all you see is people fishing those bodies of water. Yeah. And that says a lot for what you are doing out there and how much exposure you're giving these little bodies of water, these little areas. And do you think that that's going to allow for, I guess, something like what Columbia River did, where an entire town comes and says, we want you to come to our water, Almanor, like that. We want you to come back there. Have you seen that, or are you noticing that
we get calls? We get calls all the time for that.
Okay.
And there for a while, the Columbia River, with the Tri-Cities and Richland, that was with the Pro-Ams, and they continue to like and see what we did, or have done. And Arlington is always right. We want you back every year. How can you make that work? And it's like, okay, well, we also have other places to go, but the other communities, places that just get a glimpse of what it is, or they watch it on the television, or streaming, and they say, hey, and they'll call the office and they'll say, how do we get to be a part of this? Or an angler may be associated with that area, and he talks to somebody there at the tackle shop or the marina, and they say, oh, we really need an uptick in having people come out to the lake. How do we do that? Well, here's this. We haven't even introduced this gem of a body of water yet. Right. So that we do get those all the time. And you filter through it. You see, okay, that may be reasonable, or is the community behind it? Number one, do they have lodging facilities? Is there places for the anglers to eat? proximity to dates and where we're at. You know, there's a lot of different parts and pieces that go into planning the schedule in our little world over here.
And I don't need I don't want exact numbers or anything like that. But when you do go to someplace like that, like a Trinity, or I'm guessing the Afterbay is probably not one that you could, really track much. But have you heard back from those communities and say, you know what, you guys brought us business?
Yeah, we do here. And it's generally a month or two after the fact, like you say. They're, that's when they start popping photos up from, oh, I just went to so and so. Yeah, you do get that, and then you get a phone call. Hey, when can you come back?
Yeah,
and that's
and
that's gratifying.
And I'm guessing that 80-90% of that's been positive to what to what you're doing, right?
That's I would hope so. Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
They're seeing an uptick in their business. Their fuel, lodging. Whatever the case may be, they're seeing some success in that time frame that we're there.
That's and that's I think for future sponsors, that's probably what they need to see, and it's a great way for anybody to I guess get on board, or why you should get on board. And what you're doing is you're really, I guess, hyping bass fishing in general. Because it's not something that most people think about or most people look at for advertising. I worked in this and I've done it, and it's like advertisers look at it and just kind of roll their eyes. They don't know what to think.
Yeah, what is that, right?
Yeah, they don't understand what kind of a pull or a drive it can really have. But I think that what you're doing is showing that and bringing that out. And then you're not only doing that with the youth or the Apex alone, but you're doing it with the Wild West and the Pro-Ams and the team events and all these different, the kayak stuff, the kayak thing, which is blowing up so much and so crazy. And especially in this time of year, or this time of our lives right now, when we've got these high gas prices, and the only thing it takes is a truck to go put your your kayak in the water somewhere, get a hotel room.
Yeah.
How has that been as far as like the growth of your business, the kayak series?
Kayak series has been very strong. We've had it's a unique group of anglers. I really tried to learn from them as far as the capacity in which they have their gear, how they operate their gear, what they do, how they arrive at the events, all these different things. And then they go out there and they're consistently successful in a short distance that they can travel. And, they're dialed in, and they have very strategic placement that they're going to go to because, I can't only go so far. But then there's some technology that comes into play, and there's some new added features to the boats. And then you could deck them out. And before you know it, you're at $25,000 for a kayak. And, it's all decked out, rocking, and the guy's 6.5 miles away from the ramp, and he's doing great. I mean, there's where's the limit? Where's that? But Kayak Pro Tour, the kayak series and such has been very strong, and we've had a consistent growth pattern there as well. We have a big growth coming in for Kayak Pro Tour. I think we'll have between 30 and 40 Kayak Pro Tour anglers this year.
Wow.
So we're really excited about that as well.
That's impressive. I mean, it's a growing side of it. So that's impressive to have that many really taking advantage of it. As far as where was I going to go? So as far as all the things coming in, everything going, you're growing, you're getting, you're everything's. Have you noticed anything? I guess like with the team events or with the pro events that you're starting to see a few more anglers kind of narrow down and really choose and stay with your brand?
Yeah, I would say we have a good strong core. Is that your question? Like how?
Well, I guess it's more of like, are you? I guess the one event, I think it was pre-COVID. You had like the Shasta event. The team event was like 280 boats or something like that.
234, I believe, our highest number on a team event is Shasta.
Has that really stayed pretty close as far as your numbers are not dramatically dwindling? Are you keeping your share, I guess, is the best part of what I'm asking is how much of this are you taking up? You know, how much of the world of bass fishing on the West Coast are you taking up?
Bass Angler Magazine is your guide to better bass fishing. Bass Angler is dedicated to helping you catch more and bigger bass no matter what time of year or where you live. This is not your ordinary fishing magazine. Every issue is jam-packed with 30-plus articles from the world's best bass anglers. Bass Angler Magazine is available at bassanglermag.com, Tackle Warehouse, Bass Pro Shops, Cabela's, Gander Mountain, Walmart, and better tackle shops everywhere. Bass Angler also makes a great gift for any angler. Get Bass Angler today and start catching more bass tomorrow. Visit bassanglermag.com or your favorite tackle shop. This is not your ordinary fishing magazine. bassanglermag.com.
Yeah, our numbers, we set limits within our organization too, where we've like, okay, we know we can hit that number specifically at locations like Shasta at this time of year, but we need to make sure it's manageable. It's okay for the anglers. There's, good lighting. You can finish in a certain time where the guys can get back and they can go through and, prepare for the next day.
Right.
All these different variables. So we realized those things that came into play. And so we scaled it to a point where it's more manageable for everybody.
Okay. That was where I wanted to go with that was, are you, is it now that you've seen these events, you're like, okay, we, 234 is just, we're finishing in the dark. We got nobody, nobody's going to be super happy about it. So now we're limiting it. We're making it a little more, we're watching the resource. Is that some of the things that are, fishing games kind of watching too, is that they want to manage these resources? I know Clear Lake has been a hot topic and I've heard of some really weird things that they're talking about. And I don't know if you know anything about any of them, but
yeah, there's been rumors and topics on Clear Lake. We this year are only with a kayak event on Clear Lake. We did not go to Pro-Am or team with Clear Lake. Just
wow,
a lot of unknowns this year, and it's probably good to let that lake have a little break.
Is that mostly water-wise that you're talking about, or is it?
Yeah, the ramps, accessible ramps, waterways, those type of things. So. Okay. Yeah, and make sure we can adequately supply fish care, conservation, our release boats, making sure everything's, working properly and we're releasing the fish accordingly, and the ramps are available and those type of things. It all comes again full circle.
Yeah, because that's one of the big things I think that I heard was that fish care on Clear Lake specifically taking a new turn over there.
Yeah. The Fish and Game will be very, very resilient in how they conduct and monitor the fish care at Clear Lake and all over from what I'm told. So
yeah, well, and I'm sure it goes for every lake, but I think Clear Lake is the one that gets the biggest, I guess the biggest spotlight put on it between there, between there and the Delta, but it's Clear Lake is the one that is so micromanaged, I think, with everybody around it too. The people, the people that live there are watching it and out there with phones. You did say something about Big Break. What is there something going on at Big Break now? Are they changing?
Yeah, sorry, I'm gonna be on the phone and run here. Big Break is actually they sold of having and challenges that we're going to have to work through as far as that goes.
Okay. Is it more of, we're just going to change locations for now, or is it something that you don't know?
It'll be, we're not sure. We're working with the city of Oakley. That's where we work with as far as the community.
Okay.
And what our business agreements are there. And so with that, they will tell us where and what and how and what's acceptable, what's been adjusted, or whatever the case may be.
Right.
So,
okay. Well, it looks like you're getting ready to take off. You got to get going. I'm going to go ahead and we can, we'll break it a little short here, but we'll add an extra commercial.
Okay.
So Jeremy, thanks for giving us your time tonight. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
If you don't know that much about the Wild West or Apex or anything else, check them out. Jeremy, thanks again, and we will talk to you again.
Appreciate it, Ed.
All right, bud. Have a good day.
Thank you. You too. Bye-bye.
All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in. We have, that was a great interview with Jeremy, just talking about some of the new stuff coming up, some of the things they've been doing, some of the ways that they're going to change, some of the adding new people. So keep watching for that. And, thanks for tuning in here. In a little bit, we're going to be talking to a couple of guys, and they're going to be talking about forward-facing sonar and the way that it, how to set it up, how to do that. We're also going to be talking to Cliff Crochet about some of the way that the Bass Pro Tour is going to be changing and the things they're going to be doing next year, and some of the things that Cliff has coming up. So tune back in, keep listening. Every other week we're going to have a new show. So thanks for tuning in. I'm Big Ed. We're out.